how do you assess your students?
In our course, we have them give a presentation.
Oh.
And there are two presentations. There's a midterm presentation and then a final presentation. And they also have a kanji test, which is, that's so, but the presentation that they do, the first presentation is just something interesting that they found in Japan or about their country. So it's like a introduction. But then the last presentation that they do, they have to tell a story. Because they've been listening to stories the whole semester. And so they can either tell one of the stories that they listened to as part of their presentation, or they can tell a story from their country in Japanese. So, and that's kind of how we assess, because they make PowerPoint slides, and so they have to write in Japanese, so we can see that. And we help them prepare for it to make sure that they're not using ChatGPT.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they have to use the Japanese that they have acquired.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not. It has to be Japanese that they can understand and that their classmates can understand. And then, so this is like the big assessment. But then also when when I teach the individual classes, like I tell them a story, then I use the same method that Mason-sensei uses. I have them write a summary of the story in English, because they speak English. The class that I'm teaching, they all speak English. They're from many different countries, and they have English as their common language. So yes, I have them write the story in English, and I have them give a title to the story, which I think is very, I just tell them the story. I noticed that, like Mason Sensei,
Medical Mason?
Yes, and also I noticed you, when I watched some of your videos, like you give the title of the story first, but I don't like to do that. I like to tell them the story and then ask them, what is the title of this story? Because that shows me, that's one way of telling, like, did they understand the story? Because if they can give a title that is a good title for the story, then I know that they understood the story. Yeah,
that's clever.
Yeah, so that's one thing that I do.
Do you compare the results to other methods?
Well, the course that I'm doing right now, until I became the coordinator of the class, they were using all textbook. It was just like a regular class. And now that we're doing about half using comprehensible input, we haven't done any actual data collection on it. So it's just observational. But we noticed that, like before, when they were just using the textbook and they gave their presentation, it was just memorized. Like they just memorized a script and gave the presentation. And then at the end, when there was question and answer, like they had to do it in English, or they couldn't speak in Japanese. But now, since we started doing comprehensible input, they can speak in Japanese much more freely, and for the question and answer session, they can actually do that in Japanese now. So yeah, I think it's a very big difference. And the main difference that I've noticed is that they know way more vocabulary. Because they've just acquired so much vocabulary from all of the stories that they listen to. And also the structures of the language are like they've acquired those, so they don't have to think so much about like how do I say this. Like it just comes out much smoother. Yeah, like when I was talking to you in Vietnamese, like I don't know the rules of Vietnamese. I've never studied grammar in Vietnamese. I have no idea. It's just like feeling.
Okay.
From how from how I've learned from the stories. So yeah. And I think, that's kind of how they go by feeling also more.
Yeah. So do all the students in your class get involved in the story? Like, has anyone been bored?
Usually, I find that in every class there's always one student
Yeah,
that
in my
is,
experiment,
yeah,
I found that too.
yeah. And so I try to involve that student. Like when I'm telling the story, sometimes I will ask that student questions, like about the story, or like what do you think will happen next, or this kind of thing, to try to involve that student. And sometimes that helps, but sometimes the student just like it doesn't work for everybody. But it's the same way if you're like whatever you're teaching. If you use a textbook, there's always one or two students that are like way behind the other students. There's always one student that doesn't, no matter what you do.
Yeah, but like, do you know the reason why? Is this because of their characteristic or their interest or that's their
Yeah,
nature?
yeah. One thing that I've noticed that seems to be kind of a common thing with those kind of students that struggle is that usually they don't have a high degree of literacy in their own language.
Oh.
Like they are students that don't read, they don't like stories, they don't like they don't read in their own language. The students that like to read novels, that like to read the newspaper, that like to read, that like to watch soap operas, like stories on TV. These students do very well usually. Like I have right now, I have in the class that I'm teaching, there are some students from India,
Oh.
and they love Indian movies from Bollywood. And so they like my stories because sometimes they feel like my stories are kind of like Bollywood
Wow.
stories.
Okay.
Yeah, they've told me that, and so they really they enjoy listening to stories. Yeah, so it's difficult to please everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
so
also have the situation that the student like to learn vocabulary and like to play games. They don't want to listen. Yeah, they don't want to listen to stories. They want to fall back to the traditional method.
yeah. What
Yeah.
like what it are you teaching younger students, or like how is your
Yeah, these problems
mhm,
often occurs with younger students.
mhm,
Yeah, not
yes.
older, because with older, I just need to find down what is their interest. And then I will find the story or the articles to fit, to fit their.
Yeah. What I would suggest for younger students is to tell very short stories. First of all, like to tell stories that maybe are only like 5 minutes, very short stories, and also to really involve the student with. Like I know that MIio N doesn't really like she likes to tell the story and have the students listen to it, and so she doesn't like to have a lot of like TPRS kind of interaction. But I think that especially for younger students, like if you ask the students parts of the story and get them to participate in it, then I think that will really help them to pay more attention and enjoy the story more, because they feel like they are involved in the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, also one of the part that I feel challenging is that people don't really, get into this idea of listening to the story. They want to study the textbook and they want to take the test like the IELTS test and the TOEIC test.
Yes.
Yeah, they want high score. I don't really know how to convince people to do that.
This is actually one of the big reasons that I wanted to learn Vietnamese. through comprehensible input to show, because like now what I do is I show my students at the start of every semester, I show them the first video of my first time learning Vietnamese, and then I show them like
good idea.
Now, and tell them, you know, this is, and then I show them some videos of like when we were doing the stories, me and my student, and say, you know, this is how I learned Vietnamese, and this is how I'm going to teach you Japanese. And so, yeah, you should believe. And so, and I also show them some of the research results. Also, like Mason Sensei has a paper, a lot of papers that show that, for instance, students that listens to stories and read, their TOEIC score improves much more than students that study.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I show them. You know, I simplify. Like I will make maybe a graph, just so that I can show them and, you know, say these are students that listen to stories, and these are students that studied.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I usually do that like the first of the class. I will give them like an orientation and explain to them, you know, we're going to be listening to stories, and this is why. Yeah.
What are their reactions?
Most of them are like really understanding. Like they you know, they see that it will bring them good results, and so they're excited to try. And I tell them, I say, you know, this is what we're going to do in this class will be very different from what you have probably done in school before. We're not going to study. We're not going to worry about like trying to do good on a test. We're going to try to acquire Japanese, and that's very different from, you know, from studying vocabulary and getting a high score on the test. So, but even then, of course, you know, they are students, and so they, you know, they want to get good grades and do well on the test. But I think that's okay as long as they also are invested in trying to acquire the language. And so as long as they are doing the story part and trying hard, then also if they want to do well on the test, then I think that's okay for them. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, that's a good idea. I have some video back in the time I spoke Chinese. Maybe I should do one testimonial.
Yeah, I think it's really really good to do that. My colleague who is my student, the girl from Hui, also she is a Japanese teacher at Daihop Hui. And so when she is teaching her class there, she's trying also to start using comprehensible input. It's very difficult for her because they have a very strict curriculum. But she's trying to do a little bit at a time, and so she also is introducing her students using videos of us with English and Vietnamese, like the way that we learned. And yeah, I think that's a good thing to have a testimonial, like you said.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Do Japanese people like that test? The IELTS test, the English test?
No, in Japan, I don't think that the IELTS test is very common. The first time that I heard about it was when I started working with Vietnamese students.
Oh,
yeah.
only
In Japan, they're very interested in TOEIC. They're very, very enthusiastic about TOEIC. Yeah.
You know, is it popular in the UK?
IELTS?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, yeah, like I said, the first time that I heard about it was from a Vietnamese student, and so yeah.
When you was in your hometown, like nobody mentioned about it.
I'd never heard of it. No.
Okay.
No. In America, I'm from the United States, and
sorry, US, not UK.
Yeah. There, I had never, like, there's not much TOEIC there either. A little bit. Like the foreign students, the international students are interested, but in the United States, the main thing is TOEFL.
Oh,
Yeah,
TOEFL.
yeah,
Yeah, that is
because
quite popular, but
yeah,
Vietnamese people don't really,
yeah.
get into that.
Yeah, that the reason that that is popular in the United States is because for foreign students that want to go to university, they have to have a TOEFL score, a high TOEFL score, to do that. Yeah, so that's why. Yeah, but
Yeah.
like I told you in our text messages, I think that this is all just a business.
Yes.
Yeah, so
I think that they get a lot of money just
yeah.
doing these tests.
Yes. So
Okay.
I'm pretty I'm not very enthusiastic about tests.
Yes. Me neither.
Yeah.
Okay. Got crazy. And it is really expensive just
Yes.
one time.
Yes, it's ridiculous. And it doesn't really test like your real ability in the language. Because in Japan too, for the foreign students that come, they have to take the JLPT to
Okay.
get into the university. But we have so many students, especially like Chinese students, because they can read kanji. And so they can, they can do the JLPT and they have high scores like N1, but then they don't speak Japanese.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, their actual real ability in Japanese is not reflected in the test. And I think it's that way for a lot of tests. Like it's like doing good on the test and actually knowing the language, actually having acquired the language are completely different.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. So,
Yeah, but people, Vietnamese people still praise
yeah,
IELTS.
yeah, yeah. It's that way in Japan too. The Japanese people love certifications. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about American?
Uh-huh.
Do they like certificates?
No, not really. Not
Really?
yeah, not some people might be interested, like especially people studying Japanese might be
Oh.
interested in the JLPT. But I think part of that is because the Japanese people, like their Japanese teachers, are very enthusiastic about, oh, we have this test, you should take this test. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
yeah.